In this video, I'm going to be breaking down how poverty and procrastination are correlated and how to beat procrastination's ass. So be sure to watch the whole video and let's get it. What's going on, y'all? We got another banger today, right? A banger. You know I'm here to help you elevate and change your game, right? Step your game up all year, all life, everything. So today, I want to talk about how to kick procrastination's ass and how to understand the correlation between procrastination and poverty, because this could help you understand why you may be procrastinating or why somebody you love may be procrastinating as well, right? So let's get into it. So before we talk about like everything, we gotta come to some foundational understandings first, right? So first things first, let's understand like what the actual definition of poverty is, right? So this is what we're gonna do. We'll go right here, right? So right here, we got poverty, and I got it pulled up on Webster's dictionary, right? So poverty is, it says right here, right? A state of one who lacks a usual or socially acceptable amount of money or material possessions. And then down here, it says like lack of fertility, right? Now, if we go to the synonyms real quick, we could look at necessity, poorness, neediness, want, need, impoverishment, right? So these are some synonyms of the actual word, right, of poverty, okay? So that's poverty, right? Now, of course that there are systems and there's a big system that's created to keep people in poverty and impoverished, right? But there's a lot of people that don't come from impoverished areas and neighborhoods, but they still got a poverty mentality, right? And that poverty mentality is, pushing you to procrastinate. Now, there are some people that come from poverty neighborhoods and areas and they don't procrastinate because maybe they see how real life is. But there is a huge procrastination problem in the world. And so we got to get down to the bottom of it, right? And I know the exact link and the correlation between the two, right? So that's poverty, right? Now, the next thing we have is procrastination. So let's check this out, right? So we're going to go here. We're going to type in procrastination. We're going to put procrastinate. And that means to put off intentionally and habitually, okay? To put off intentionally and habitually, right? That's what that means. Now, when we go to the synonyms, let's go to the thesaurus. Synonyms are to delay, to stall, a whole bunch of random words, but these are some that stick out to me, right? Delay, stall, those are two ones that definitely stick out. Lollygag is another one. Loiter, right? That's another one that sticks out to me as well, right? So that's what procrastinate means. Like I said, to put off intentionally and habitually, right? So now we know that, okay, poverty, what it is, it's a lack of basically everything. And then we know what procrastination is, right? To put off things intentionally. Now, what stood out to me with the definition of poverty is the word lack, right? L-A-C-K, lack. Now, lack obviously means to be without. But don't take my word for it. Let's go look at the definition of lack, right? So we're going to go in here right real quick. We're going to type in lack. To be deficient or missing. To be short or have need of something, right? That is lack. That's what that means. The factor state of being wanting deficient, something that is lacking or is needed, right? So that's what lack means, all right? So we got poverty, we got procrastination, and we got lack. Now this word lack is what stood out to me in under the definition of poverty, right? So now, what does lack lead to, right? What does lack lead to? It leads for you to be hesitant. It leads for you to be indecisive. It leads for you to be in survival mode. It leads for you to, operate out of avoidance. Here's what I mean. But before I say that, a lot of times people are going to say, oh, so-and-so procrastinates because they're lazy. Or, the gurus are going to say, this person procrastinates because they just fear or they're lazy. Just get your ass up and stop, right? And it's like, I understand that, but I would be remiss if I didn't address the fact that there are so many other factors that play a role into a person's procrastination, right? And so a person procrastinating usually feels hesitant, indecisive. They could be in survival mode. They could be avoiding things, right? But where does that come from? That comes from the feeling of lack. And where does the feeling of lack comes from? It comes from the actual definition inside of poverty. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just because you're fearful. It's not just because you're lazy. A lot of times you're procrastinating because you, at the root of your mentality, you are operating out of lack. You are operating out of lack. And because you're operating out of lack, because that's one of the main words that I've seen multiple times in the definition of poverty, because you're operating out of lack, that supports having certain thought processes, and that leads to you feeling hesitant. That leads to you feeling indecisive. That leads to you being in survival mode. That leads to you feeling a level of avoidance, right? Now, what are you avoiding? You're avoiding the doing of the thing, right? You're avoiding the feeling that you don't want to feel of having discipline. You're avoiding having to be consistent. You're avoiding all these other things that come with the actual doing of the thing that you say it is that you want to do, right? You want to start a YouTube channel, but you're avoiding getting on camera, and that's why you're procrastinating, right? You want to start investing, but you're avoiding losing money, and that's why you're procrastinating. I hope this is making sense here. See, you're avoiding things because you're operating out of lack. You're operating out of lack. And because you're operating out of lack, all these other supporting characteristics that aren't even you are rearing their head. Right? You're operating out of lack. So now you're in survival mode. You're in survival mode because you're in lack. You're only experiencing nothing. You're only experiencing less than. You're so used to having less than, you can't even put yourself in a position to operate out of some level of abundance, some level of safety and security. So it's not just, oh, you from the hood and you in poverty and that's why you procrastinate. No, there's people that grew up middle class that have a highly poverty mentality, not just around money, but around everything. They're operating out of lack. They're operating out of fear, right? So lack. Now that promotes being in survival mode. So when you're in survival mode, what are you willing to do? You're willing to do whatever for whatever. That's a dangerous place to be in. You don't want to be in a position where you're doing whatever for whatever. But because you're operating out of lack on a very subconscious level, you are not putting yourself in a position to operate out of any higher energy. And because you're operating out of a very low vibration and a low energy, that's why you're in survival mode. That's why you avoiding everything, right? Okay, lack. Operating out of lack again. That leads to indecision. When you are operating out of lack, you're used to having nothing, right? So if you are used to having nothing and then you have 5 different options, you're going to get decision fatigue because you don't know which decision to make. You don't know which thing to choose. You don't know which venture to take. You don't know which path to go down because you're operating out of lack. And that lack, because you've never had to flex the muscle of making a decision when 5 opportunities are presented to you, you don't have the critical thinking to go through each one. you are now being indecisive, and that indecision is doing nothing but making you procrastinate. So all we see is the word procrastination. All we see is procrastinating, but there's a very deeper level to it. And this is all subconscious. This is all on a subconscious level, right? The things that you think when you sleep, the music that you listen to, the thoughts that you have, we got a automatic and a manual mind. So your automatic mind is your subconscious mind. The things that you think without thinking, the things that you do without thinking, that is your subconscious mind. That is your automatic mind. Your manual mind is the things you have to think about doing, learning new things. That's your manual mind because it's not on autopilot. And when you start operating on autopilot, you're operating out of your automatic mind. So if you're operating out of your automatic mind, which is operating out of the roots of your subconscious, and if lack is in your subconscious, and if the energy of lack is in your subconscious mind, you are going to make moves out of hesitancy, indecision, being in survival mode, avoiding things, being fearful. And it's like no wonder why there's so many people that procrastinate, because they're operating out of lack and they don't even know it. Oh, I'm a procrastinator. I don't even know why X. No, it's time for you to reveal the reason why, but we just revealed it. We just went step by step and we just revealed it. Lack is the reason why you're procrastinating, because procrastination and poverty are directly correlated, and the link to connect them so that you can break free from procrastination is getting rid of lack, and not operating out of lack, but operating out of more, operating out of safety, operating out of security, operating out of abundance. You got to operate out of the energy of I know who I am. I know I'm safe. I got this. We're going to make this happen. That's how you want to operate. You don't want to operate out of a spirit of lack, because all that's going to do is push you into procrastinating, and you're just going to be running in a circle for however long until you address this demon of procrastination and lack. Poverty is a demon, and we all have to address it. If we didn't grow up with abundance at the forefront of what we've been exposed to, we got to address the demon of lack and of poverty. Point blank, period. So it's up to you to take this and do something with it. Poverty and procrastination are directly correlated. And if you didn't grow up in poverty, but you still suffer from procrastination, you're operating out of lack. On a subconscious level, you may not even know that you're operating out of this level. And a lot of times people don't know. That's why we're bringing it to the forefront. That's exactly why we're bringing it to the forefront right now. So I want you to understand, it's not because you are just fearful or you're lazy. It's a much deeper meaning and reason why the thing is happening. And that reason is because you're operating out of lack, and that energy of lack is promoting and supporting you to operate on a certain level, which is a very low vibration, and all the characteristics and traits associated with that low vibration are all the things that we've talked about and more. And now that's what's happening. When you think about it, it's really simple, but you got to do that work on yourself so that you know and understand what it is and what's going on, right? So lack is the link between poverty and procrastination. So now you can take lack, you can put it in there, you can connect it, and now you can break free from that, because now you know why it happens and what's going on, right? So I hope that made sense, and I hope that this video helped you. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and also comment below what you really liked about the video, all right? And always remember, get out of your head, get into the world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. I'm going to see y'all in the next video. I appreciate the time. Peace.